Samma Sambuddho Samagato Ayena Bhagavata Namo Suvatipanno Yasa Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Dhammayam Bhagavatam Sadhamam Sasangam Ime Sadare Yadaham Arupite Abhipujayama Sadhuno Bhante Bhagava Suchira Varini Buddhopi Pajima Janatanu Gambhamanasam Yeme Sakare Dugata Panaka Prabhute Patikanatu Amma Kandi Daratam Hitaya Sukaya Aram Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddham Bhagavatam Abhivadi Swagato Bhagavata Namo Dhamman Vasayami Supatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Sangham Namami Damayam Buddhasa Bhagavato Bhagavatanamakarang Karunase Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa.
So, very good. Very nice to see everyone again. So please now compose yourselves. Take a good posture, sit up nicely. Body and mind alert. And you close your eyes and you leave everything you've been doing, thinking about, worrying about, behind. You put it all down and you leave it. And you try now to do your best to keep your attention, at least during this evening while we're together, here and now. And we commence by bringing to mind the Buddha, reminding ourselves of our great teacher and inspiration, recollecting his perfect mind, a mind that was clear of all corruption, all forms of greed, hatred, and delusion, and even far distant, far away from any of that rubbish. His too was a mind of infinite compassion. A truly extraordinary and wonderful being, perfect in knowledge and conduct. Now, when you recollect the Buddha, when anything at all reminds you of the Buddha, be inspired to follow in his footsteps and do your utmost to cleanse your own mind of all that corrupts and spoils it and makes your life, well, not the happy one it could be. And remember that you should embark on this journey with a mind and attitude of loving kindness, especially for yourself. This is not always a smooth and easy path. And there will be times when you will be disappointed in yourself, perhaps even ashamed of yourself. Be kind to yourself. You're not yet perfect. One day you might be, but right now there's some work to do. Acknowledge that. Be kind to yourself. And care for yourself. But don't forget to rejoice in your good qualities, the good things you do, your merits. And be reminded of what the Buddha said, that when rejoicing in your merits, do them again and again. But at the same time, you have to accept things as they are for now. And of course, remember to be kind and caring of others, and try to see their good points too, and reflect on them and be reminded of them. And also accept them. You can always change yourself, but you can't always change other people. And it's even presumptuous to try. You can offer them a way of improving themselves. And you can offer that with your own example, but you can't impose it. This is work that we all have to do for ourselves in the end. Now we must take a moment to remind ourselves again of the unfortunate nature of our existence, that we are subject to time. Time is passing. There's no stopping it. And we're on a one-way street, aging. Life hath but one direction, and time's its only measure. And then at any time, at any moment, we can fall ill, something go wrong, some part of us we've never even heard of. We could even meet with an accident. Life can be very precarious. And then whatever we do, however hard we try, sooner or later we're going to die. And the same for all your loved ones, everyone you know. Everyone, all that lives must die. So, sit up well, gather and concentrate your mind, and direct your attention first to your body, your physical presence. Be aware of the posture you've taken, the shape your body is making. Determine now to be still. But in that stillness, notice that slight movement of your breathing. And make it quite clear for yourself just where and how you perceive the breath, where it's most obvious to you. And try now to keep your attention there so that you are able to be mindful and aware of each in-breath and each out-breath. So please, everyone, remain seated just as you are, keeping your body and mind alert and still. And then during the next few minutes while I'm talking, all you have to do is to listen. You don't have to think about what I'm saying. You don't need to try and remember it, or approve of it, or criticize it, or anything. All of that you can do later if you want. But while I'm talking, try to simply listen. So, from time to time, I get a bit concerned about, in some cases, what certain people who are Buddhists or claim to be Buddhists don't know. And I feel, yes, that, well, it's partly my responsibility to ensure that Buddhist people know what they need to know. And one of the great weaknesses that we see now within Buddhism or in certain Buddhist countries comes really and truly from the fact that although people have this great faith in Buddhism, they don't actually know that much about it. And if you don't know it, then you can't practice it. The Buddha spoke of the need to, well, study is perhaps a bit too strong a word. Pariyat means, yes, to study, to learn. Pariyat, patipat, practice. Patiweda, realize. So you have to know what you've got to do, and then you've got to do it. And then the results come. But if you don't know what to do, then obviously you're not going to do it. And if you don't do it, there won't be any results. And so a marvelous teaching, a powerful teaching, a great opportunity is for so many people lost. So what should a good Buddhist know? It's really not that difficult or complicated. Yes, you need to know the Four Noble Truths. This is kind of the matrix of Buddhism, of Buddhist teaching. The Four Noble Truths. And these Four Noble Truths are common to all the schools of, or the legitimate schools of Buddhism. And what are those Four Noble Truths? First of all, dukkha. And what does this mean? It means, well, there's a whole range of meaning. Unsatisfactoriness, incompleteness, imperfection, so on. What does it all come down to? What do we experience? Suffering. I know that can be quite a strong word. And some people are a bit put off by it to begin with and think, well, yes, I don't really suffer. I mean, I'm not that happy sometimes, and I do get a bit upset and so on and so forth. And then you really think about it. Yes, I do suffer. Of course I suffer. Everyone suffers. You can see it. It's the great problem of life. And then the second noble truth. Why do you suffer? There's got to be a reason. Craving. That's the immediate cause the Buddha gave. But essentially, there is a reason, a cause of your suffering. Craving. Can anything be done about it? Yes. Third noble truth. This can be stopped. It can be ended. Fourth noble truth. The way to do it. This is marvelous. I mean, how many times have many of us been told to be good, especially when we were children? Love your neighbor and so on and so forth. Did anyone tell me how to do it? No. But here the Buddha is being quite clear. There's a way out. And here it is. This is what you need to do. The Noble Eightfold Path. Now, we often speak of the Four Noble Truths and the Noble Eightfold Path. We say it like that. And the two, of course, are interrelated. The fourth of the Four Noble Truths is the Noble Eightfold Path. But then the first step of the Noble Eightfold Path, right view, what is that? What do you understand by right view? The understanding of the Four Noble Truths. So there you have it. Within the Noble Eightfold Path, you have, right at the beginning, the Four Noble Truths. And obviously, if you don't understand or accept that you suffer, then you're not going to go any further, are you? You're not going to attempt to solve a problem unless you know you've got one. And then to solve the problem, you've got to know what the cause of the problem is. And you need to be assured that it is solvable. And to solve it, you've got to know how. So the Four Noble Truths are there at the very head of the Noble Eightfold Path. So what's the Noble Eightfold Path? As you know, I teach in the prisons. And I'm often on to them to memorize the Noble Eightfold Path. Over and over again, I ask guys who come quite regularly to the groups that I'm teaching if they can recite for me the Noble Eightfold Path. And sometimes they can get 5 or 6 of them. Sometimes it's a bit sort of haphazard here and there. And I keep on to them. This is very important, to know the Noble Eightfold Path and to know its structure. It's not good enough to say, well, right speech, right mindfulness, you've got to know the structure. There is a structure to it. So you have right view or right understanding. And very basically, that is of the Four Noble Truths. And you can add to it, yes, an understanding of change. You can accept that change is possible. Things can be improved. Now, when you've got that in place, then your attitude, your inner attitude, the way you think, begins to change. So the second step is this rather slightly difficult to translate step, Sammasankappa. It means something like right attitude or right thought, or sometimes right intention. Your state of mind that precedes the action. And the inclination then is towards loving kindness, compassion, and so forth. And then you've got right speech, right action, right livelihood. Now this is something to do. And this is what I like to think of or express as working on yourself from the outside in, paying attention, as it were, to your appearance, to how you do things. First of all, being careful of how you speak, making sure that your speech is not harsh and unpleasant, it's not untruthful, you're not getting caught up in gossip and nonsense, and so on. And your actions also, paying attention to how you behave, and your livelihood. And then we come to right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. Working on yourself, as it were, from the inside out, paying attention to your state of mind, making an effort to guard your mind. This is very important, easily overlooked. You know, all kinds of stuff comes into our minds, doesn't it? We hear things, we see things. You look around and you see people doing things. You hear people saying things. You read stuff. You watch various dodgy programs on television or whatever. There's stuff coming at you all the time. And a lot of it is preying, or perhaps nearly all of it, preying on your defilements. Now we have to pay attention to these. Because the Buddha said, didn't he, There's a reason for your suffering. And the first thing he pointed to was your craving. So here we have then a big defilement, a big thing that spoils your mind. But there's another side to that coin. Greed, wanting, and then wanting not to have. Greed and hatred, two sides of the same coin. And why do these arise? Because you don't understand things properly. Because your mind is deluded and clouded. Greed, hatred, and delusion, the three basic defilements of the mind. And much of what comes into you preys on these three. And some people do it quite deliberately and cleverly. Politicians, they may not actually have quite worked it out, but instinctively they know how to get at people, to give you what you want, to whip up in you aversion for the enemy, and so on. So you guard your mind. And then, of course, well, we can't help it. Bad thoughts, greed, anger slips by. So then you have to make the effort to deal with that. And then the effort to improve your mind. And then incredibly important, the effort to maintain the advances you manage. Don't think that having got so far, then you can just sort of rest on your laurels. No, we can fall back very easily. And then there's mindfulness and concentration. So this evening you've been attempting to remain mindful of your breathing, remembering to keep your attention on your breathing and concentrating your mind on that. And when your mind becomes reasonably concentrated and quiet, then the way that you see things is quite different. Your understanding develops. Your mind changes. Your life improves. This is the basic message of Buddhism. This is what the Buddha said he was most interested in. All he was really interested in was suffering and the end of suffering. And there it is. This is the basic message. This is what all Buddhists should know. And to be conscious of, yes, what's wrong, the defilements. I'm not very keen on that word for some reason. I don't. It seems a bit of an ugly word. But then these defilements are pretty ugly areas of our being, aren't they? And our greed can easily get out of hand. Our anger especially. Hatred. Look at what's happening in the world now. And how it's being whipped up here and there. And all of this coming from really heavily deluded thinking. Delusion is the parent of greed and hatred. Delusion is the opposite of right understanding. Our practice ultimately is to cut through the mist that surrounds us and understand things as they are, as they really are, and thus free ourselves from greed, hatred, and delusion, and all suffering. So there you are. That's enough now from me for tonight. We'll sit for just a moment or two, and in these closing moments, please focus your minds on metta, loving kindness. May you and all beings be well and happy. May you and all beings be free from all suffering. May you and all beings realize for yourselves the secure peace of Nibbana. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivadi Swagato Bhagavata Namo Dhammang Namasami Supatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Sanghang Namami. So thank you all very much for coming. Very good to see you all. I hope you have a good weekend, and we'll meet again soon. And if I can remind you, a week on Sunday, we have a celebration here, the 40th anniversary of the Forest Hermitage. So if you can come, please do.